Hey there folks, Dan Fritter with Caliber Magazine, doing a pretty quick video on the expected cabinet shuffle tomorrow. Obviously pretty important for gun owners, seeing as the Minister of Public Safety is the sponsor for Bill C-21 and he's expected to be shuffled out. Now that doesn't mean anything for C-21's legislative progress, but it does mean there's probably an indication of the government's intent with regards to further firearms regulation. What I mean by that is that the new minister is going to fall into one of two categories, most likely. The first is potentially a very competent minister who is selected because the Liberal Party sees, or the Prime Minister sees this individual as someone capable of navigating the minefields that are Bill C-21 and their gun regulation, but also to the foreign interference inquiry, which they are likely going to face in the fall. The second category would be a more junior MP who's probably serving as a Parliamentary Secretary currently, and who is in a hotly contested riding who would benefit from the increase in profile that comes with a ministerial appointment. The Minister of Public Safety spends a lot of time in front of cameras, talking to journalists, being quoted in the news, and obviously if that's your local MP, a lot of those news headlines resound in your local community, meaning ministers tend to get a boost in the polls, 2 to 5% or even more if they're a really well-liked minister. For that reason, I expect Marco Mendicino is probably actually going to be shuffled sideways, not completely out of cabinet. His riding, Eglinton Lawrence, is relatively contested, and if they relegate him to the backbench, that demotion could be seen as basically conceding that riding to the Conservatives, who don't have a candidate in the area and are already contesting it. So they probably are looking to move him into a less prominent role. Tourism or something like that, where there's less controversy, but he can maintain profile. For the same reason, they may bring in someone with a lower profile into the Ministry of Public Safety to elevate that person's profile and help them in the polls if it's someone like a Chris Biddle type character who's very closely contested in their riding. So far, that does seem to be the case. We don't know who the Minister of Public Safety is, but I have seen reports of 5 Liberal MPs that are going to be in cabinet. Yara Sachs, Jenna Sudds, Terry Beach, and Arif Virani, and a couple others, or one more. All of the 5 that I've heard, 4 of them, the lead between first and second place in current polling is less than the margin of error, meaning they're very tight races. And the 5th, the margin of error is only 2% larger, so it's still a very tight race. So we're hearing basically that the MPs that they're selecting are generally falling into the second category. They're not high-profile people. They could use the boost. They're in contested ridings. This all starts to point towards a quote-unquote election cabinet, where you're really going off of what can help you in the polls more than what will help you get these policies across the finish line. The last thing that I'll mention, because it's somewhat related to this, is if that's the case, there's another indication that might be the case, is Elections Canada purchased 5,000 shirts and 1,800 signs for the 45th general election. It's on the Canada Wise website. You can see it right there. The delivery date for these election materials is October 18th, with an option to extend delivery 6 months after that. So basically between fall of 2023 and spring of 2024, it seems quite likely that they'll be wanting to use those. My understanding is that Elections Canada does not order this stuff well in advance. It's not like they have an election and they order the stuff for the next one right away. They do tend to want to use this stuff relatively expediently. So someone seems to have told Elections Canada, you'll want some things on hand by October 18th at the latest. So that's very interesting. We'll do another video tomorrow updating this story. Obviously, I'm sure that this story will be updated while I'm recording this, because newsflash, this is about the 14th time I've recorded it because it keeps updating the story. I'll be putting this version out no matter how it goes down because I'm tired of recording this. But we'll do a longer format video tomorrow, breaking down who the new Minister of Public Safety is, some of their background with regards to gun policy, because that's obviously in our wheelhouse, but also to the cabinet at large and what that might mean with regards to C-21's progress. For those that remember, Marco Mendicino was supposed to be convening the Canadian Firearms Advisory Committee months ago to be working on their recommendations for the OIC ban that was expected this fall. And what this shuffle means for that, we'll have a better idea tomorrow. So look for a longer format video on that tomorrow. For now, thank you so much for watching. I'm really glad to get this one out because, like I said, this has been a lot of takes on this video. Very interesting time to be following Canadian politics. If you're a gun owner, like I said, look for tomorrow's minister to be one of those two categories, someone you recognize that's seen as competent. From that, you can infer that they're probably looking to prioritize C-21 and some of these other issues and get those across the finish line before the election. If it's someone new, someone that you don't know, someone that's in a more contested riding, someone's more junior, and we're probably looking at election prep. So I'll see you guys tomorrow to update that. Thank you again for your time watching this video. I apologize for the relatively long time in between videos, but I'm still struggling with how to come up with things to talk about. And when the government is taking the summer recess, there's obviously not a lot of politics to get into. So we are looking at doing some reviews and whatnot coming up, because the YouTube content works great, so look for those too. But I will see you guys tomorrow with an update on who our new Minister of Public Safety is and what that means. But for now, keep your ear to the ground and try and figure out whether or not it's someone competent or someone who's going to sell us the policy or someone who's going to sell us them. I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow. Thanks, guys.